Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this live section. So guys, Kenya court has finally exposed the Nigerian government, and also Ipob, that's the indigenous people of Biafra, have demanded an end to Nnamdi Kanu's trial, because already Kenya court has already said that the way he was kidnapped from Kenya to Nigeria was illegal. So they have called for an end, or demanded for an end to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Hopefully, on the 18th of July, we should be expecting the release of Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So IPOB has called for an immediate end to Nnamdi Kanu's trial in Nigeria after a Kenya court ruled that his arrest and transfer from Kenya was illegal and violated international law. The group says the Nigerian government has committed an act of terrorism under its own law. So in this case, you can see that Nigeria has committed a crime in Kenya in their own law. It is a violation of international law. The fact that he was transferred from Kenya and brought to Nigeria illegally, it has violated international law. And the group says, Kenya said that Nigerian government has committed an act of terrorism under its own law. So guys, you can see that truly Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent of all the crime, and then they have, IPOB has said they should release him. So now, in a stunning legal development that sends shocking wave across Africa and international legal community, a high court in Kenya has officially declared that the arrest and forced transfer of IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as illegal, labeling it a violation of international law and human rights abuse. Now, this ruling is not just a victory for Kanu, it's not just a victory for Kanu, it's a direct indictment of the Nigerian government's conduct, which IPOB now calls it an act of terrorism under Nigerian's law itself. But what does this mean for Kanu's ongoing trial in Abuja? Is this the end of the road for Nigerians' legal pursuits? Now, stay with us. We're going to break everything down. Now, let's do a rewind. Let's rewind to June 2021. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, was reportedly adopted in Kenya, held in Communicado, and then flown to Nigeria without going through any official extradition process. Remember, the court in Kenya have to give an order, and then people are saying that if Nigerian government, if Kanu actually did something, Nigerian government would have just, written to Kenya government that this man did this, so this, did that, and it's left for Kenya to do their job, not Nigerian government secretly going to arrest him. So now they call this kind of action extraordinary rendition when someone is secretly seized and sent to another country by passing all legal process, and it's illegal under both international law and Nigeria's own constitution. You can see that what they did was even against their own constitution. What Nigerian government did was against their constitution. Nobody obeys rule of law now. Everybody is doing things on their own. They said they don't obey the constitution, they don't obey the rule of law. They don't at all. They don't even obey court orders. Now, in June 2025, after years of legal battle, a high court in Kenya finally ruled on the matter. The court declared that Kanu's arrest and transfer violated his fundamental human rights, including his right to liberty, fair hearing, and due process. Then they also said that there was no formal extradition, and the entire act was an abduction. You guys, even there's a formal extradition, they have to write to Kenya government, and it is left for Kenya government to bring him back to Nigeria or keep him there. But the Nigerian government violated their own constitution, their own law, and went and kidnapped him secretly. So now there was no entire act was the entire act was an adoption. They kidnapped him, which is, in this fact, Nigerian government has committed terrorism in Kenya's law. In Kenya's law. And the worst of all, the Kenya government collaborated with foreign agencies in this illegal act. This ruling supports an earlier judgment from Nigeria's own Federal High Court in Umuahia 2022, which also said Kanu's rendition was illegal and ordered his release, a judgment Nigeria failed to obey. As you can see that there's a federal high court in Umaya in 2022, they said their final declaration was that Kanu's rendition was illegal and ordered his release, but the judgment, that's the judgment, but Nigeria has failed to obey it. That's the judgment, the federal high court in Abuja, that was their final judgment concerning Nnamdi Kanu. Now, following the Kenya ruling, Ipob has come out swinging, saying a statement signed by Barrister Onyedikachi Ifedi, Ipob's Director of Legal Affairs and Global Communication. The group described the ruling as a judicial indictment of Nigeria's illegal conduct, a violation of international treaties, and under Nigerian law, a clear act of state-sponsored terrorism. Yes, it's a trial built on illegality is itself illegal. Now, under Section 23F II of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, if you kidnap or abduct anyone in violation of any international treaty, it's terrorism. You can see that Nigerian government has, have committed terrorism in Kenya. So if the Nigerian government or its agents adopted Kanu from Kenya without legal process, then according to Nigerian law, they committed an act of terrorism. This is they have violated Nigerian law. In fact, they have committed terrorism in Nigerian law and even in Kenya's law. Yeah, they have committed terrorism. Why is it they will not charge them to court about? Why is it they will not charge Nigerian government to court because of this act? IPOB also see that the true terrorists, not even Mazen and Kanu, do you know what it means for them to secretly go and arrest someone? We are expecting his release. If they don't release him on the 18th of July, there's going to be a big problem, of course. Everything is clear now. Everything is clear. IPOB also referenced the African chapter of Human and People's Rights, especially Articles 12.4, which protects the legal admitted persons from being expelled without proper legal procedure. That charter isn't just paper. That charter isn't just paper. It's actually domesticated into Nigerian law, which means it's legally binding. Despite the rulings from Kenya, from Nigeria's own court, Kanu is still being tried by Justice James Omotosho at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Despite these rulings, the Kenya and from Nigeria's own court, Kanu is still being tried. Nnamdi Kanu is still being tried in a Federal High Court in Abuja by Justice James Omotosho. But IPOB now demands that the court should stop all proceedings, review its jurisdiction, and recognize the illegality of Kanu's jurisdiction. They argue that a court that closes its eyes to jurisdictional abuse loses moral and legal legitimacy. Kanu has said that no court in Nigeria has the jurisdiction to try him. He has said it time without number. What's at stake here is more than one man's freedom. What at stake here is more than one man's freedom. If Nigeria continues to ignore court rulings, both foreign and domestic, it sends a dangerous message. That's one thing they don't know. It sends a dangerous message that law doesn't matter, the international treaty can be broken, and that human rights can be trampled upon without consequences. This isn't just about Nnamdi Kanu, it's about the rule of law in Africa's largest democracy, and whether Nigeria wants to be seen as a nation that respects its constitution or one that criminalizes it. Now, one thing you should know that this thing they are doing to Mazen Kanu is just an eye opener of Nigeria's illegality. Yes, they don't obey the rule of law. They don't obey democracy. People feel it's about Nnamdi Kanu. It's about the rule of law in Africa's largest democracy. And whether Nigeria wants to be seen as a nation that respects it, they don't respect their constitution. They don't respect. So IPOB's final message is clear. They are saying, end the trial now. End the trial now. That is what they are saying. End the trial now. They're also saying, release Nnamdi Kanu. He has been there for 5 years. People say he's the one that caused insecurity, or when he was in London, they say he was the one that is the owner, or he's the person that was called the problem. Many people say that way. It's the problem of insecurity in the southeast. And now he has been arrested for so many years now. Now what has changed? Insecurity even got worse. We started hearing of unknown gunmen, violence in the southeast. And when they asked DSS what has happened since before Martin Nnamdi Kanu was now arrested, how was the south? And he said southeast was under siege. You guys know it's a lie, because when Martin Nnamdi Kanu, before they got him arrested, the east was at peace. It was in the north that you hear all this problem, but the east was at peace. That's to tell you that Martin Nnamdi Kanu is not a criminal, he's not a terrorist. It's after they arrested him, we started hearing of unknown gunmen, the east is boiling, Imo State on fire, all these things, violence in different parts in the east. So you can see that truly. So now he's in prison and all this thing is happening. Who is not causing it? We used to say it's him that is causing it. That's to tell you that truly, he's innocent. He's innocent of all crime. If he's not innocent, they would have brought something to come, and they would have brought a good evidence that shows he's a terrorist. People were thinking that they're going to bring out, truckload of weapons of Martin Nnamdi Kanu, maybe a weapon he kept somewhere. Do you know that they can't even bring anything or show an evidence? What do they call terrorists? How did they define a terrorist? How can you define a terrorist? A terrorist is supposed to be armed. Have they seen any weapon or any machetes with Martin Nnamdi Kanu before? So, guys, that's to tell you. So, Ipob, their final message is clear. They're saying, end the trial now. Also release Martin Nnamdi Kanu. Acknowledge the wrongdoing, or Nigeria risks being permanently stained as a rogue state. Now, that is what Ipob is saying. Their message is so clear for everyone to understand. Now, take a look at what this man said about Kanu's trial. Take a look.
Why is Nnamdi Kanu still in prison? Can anybody tell me why? Why do you lock him? Since you lock him up, what differences does he make? When Nnamdi Kanu was in London, Nigeria said, why is Nnamdi Kanu still in prison? Can anybody tell me why? Why do you lock him? Since you lock him up, what differences does he make? When Nnamdi Kanu was in London, Nigeria said this guy was the problem of Nigeria. This guy was the problem of insecurity. Now you got him about 5 years ago. Has that problem stopped? And who actually tell you that if Simon Ekpa is being silent right now, the problem will stop? These are problems that is created by the ruling class, by the governors, by the admin, by subsequent government to siphon money. It's just like a typical example of what is happening in the northern part of Nigeria. Do you actually believe there's anything called Boko Haram? There's nothing like that. Those are the government sponsor agent. We all know it. Do you believe that Zamfara State, those territory that is being taken over by Boko Haram, is Boko Haram? No, it is government that is controlling the land, because there are raw mineral resources in that area that need to be taken, and they don't want any external body to near that place. During Buhari time, in the height of insecurity, German foreign minister came to the north, and she went into the bush. I will find the video and show you. The lady traveled to Nigeria with her own security. What is German foreign minister doing in Zamfara forest? Can you actually tell me what is she doing there with her own security? Is because they came to secure their own property, which is the gold that is being mined in those areas. So they make sure that nobody near that area. They destroy villages, they clear every land, and they concentrate. Then they tell you insecurity, insecurity, insecurity. It is all a joke, okay? Our people has become commodity in the hand of government, and Tinubu is not different. Those are just the fact. So now you are blaming Simon Ekpa. Stay far away in Finland. Far away in Finland, you are thinking this is the guy that you need to arrest to stop insecurity. And I see a lot of Igbo leaders telling that they can't go to their village because of Simon Ekpa. So it is good they arrest him. Okay, I wish you luck with that. But I want to guarantee you there are 100 Simon Ekpa in waiting. As soon as that guy is silent, another one will rise up again. The only way you can clear this problem is fighting corruption and be willing to govern your people very well. As long as you neglect that particular important part of governorship, then you always have a problem. For me, Simon Ekpa is not a problem of Nigeria. And by the way, Finland is not a banana republic. They will never, never extradite their citizens to Nigeria. I give you the word. I use the word never. Prove me wrong. A lot of you guys are telling me, oh, what about Nnamdi Kanu that is arrested? Nnamdi Kanu was never arrested. He foolishly traveled to Kenya, which he should never have done. And they kidnapped him from there. You have to differentiate it. Okay? They basically kidnapped him. There was no paperwork. When Nnamdi Kanu was in London, why wasn't he arrested? Shortly before Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya, he was in Houston, in America. He was in Germany. He was traveling. He was in Tokyo. Nobody arrested him. But when he go to lawless countries like Kenya, Nigeria, Niger, then they will take you. It's a country whereby the rule of law does not exist. Finland is not like that. So I beg you to be different that Finland will never extradite Simon Ekpa, regardless of which crime you accuse him of. I actually take my time to look at the crime or allegation, basically, that the police or the kind of the NBI in Finland said they are they are investigating against Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa did not do anything against the country that he lives in. You said he's doing something on the internet, he's inciting. So it got to be hard for you to prove it. And I'm going to guarantee you, even when you prove it, Finland will not ship Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. Take my word to the bank. Because nobody respects Nigeria, a state that respects rule of law, justice, equity. We don't know that. So, ladies and gentlemen, relax your mind and fight your problem that you have and stop looking outside. Simon Ekpa is not the problem of Nigeria. The people that are at home, the governors, the local government chairman, the senators, they are the problem of Nigeria, just as they are the problem of the northern part of Nigeria that are basically lootings, all of the raw mineral resources that is available in that area in the name of security. Is Simon Ekpa the problem of Nigeria that you can't travel from Lagos to Abuja on your own? Is Simon Ekpa the problem that you cannot travel from Abuja to Kaduna on your own? Is Simon Ekpa the problem that insecurity is all over our road? Is Simon Ekpa the problem that the police are kidnapping citizens, collecting money from their hand? Please spare me of that story, man. Leave the guy alone, man. He's not coming to Nigeria. Let me...
So, guys, you heard what that man said. You heard everything he said. That man made sense in everything he said. Now, he talked about, Nnamdi Kanu. It is clear that they adopted him. Now, imagine the mistake Nnamdi Kanu made was foolishly going to Kenya. You guys know that. You see how this country, Kenya, Nigeria, is one of, you cannot be protected in this kind of country because somebody can just come and take you, come into the country and take you out. A country like Kenya, the rule of law is not respected. Even Kenya had to even come and apologize, and compensated Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, because they failed to do their work. And it's appalling that UK, Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen. And the UK, they cannot, even when he went missing, what did they do? When he went missing, what did they do to, did they even make effort to look for him? They didn't at all. I don't know how they trapped, Mazen. I don't know what lured him to Kenya. I don't know who lured him or what lured him to Kenya. And then because they know that Kenya is a anyhow country now, they now use the opportunity to kidnap him. Imagine after everything they did to him, the Kenya is just now that they are speaking out, saying that they are failed by not protecting another a visitor in their country. They have failed, and then they said they should release Nnamdi Kanu that he's innocent. So in Simon Ekpa's case now, they are also looking for a way to extradite him or lure him to another country. just like what happened in his trial. They said that the judges were asking him, what we saw a message on your phone and it's regarding Chinese people. So Simon Ekpa already knows that this message is a okay, he's a communication between Chinese people, and he already knows that this is, the Chinese people were trying to help him in in this Biafran struggle, meaning that they want him to travel to China so that they can kidnap him there and bring him back to Nigeria. So Simon already knows their plan. So then he did not pay attention to it. He didn't pay attention to that plan. So you can see Nnamdi Kanu is free of all the allegation by Nigerian government. Nnamdi Kanu is free. In fact, he's innocent. Let me put it that way. He's innocent. Looking at the insecurity in Nigeria, it is caused by Nigerian government. That was what that man said. It is caused by Nigerian government. The insecurity in Nigeria, it is caused by Nigerian government. It's caused by Nigerian government. These people are the ones doing this thing, and then they'll call Ipob. These are foreign people, they are backing up. Guys, take a look at what this man said.
If we don't get angry with this thing, it will not get away. There is a proverb in my place that if you have rashes on your buttocks and you are covering it, the thing will continue to fester. But when you expose it, shame will allow you to stay there, it will go away. Why is it that each time Tinubu want to address this, he will not mention names? You mean up till now, Tinubu does not know who is causing this problem in Nigeria. Up till now, they don't know. Up till now, they don't know. They don't call them out. I expected Tinubu to call all the Fulani leaders, to call their people to order. That is the way to go. Buhari is there. He knows all these things. He kept quiet. If the Nigerians were to be killing Fulani the way they are killing other people, would Buhari talk? Esther, would Buhari talk? They kept quiet because they are the one killing other people. You heard all the statements they have made concerning Benue, especially telling Benue people they must do it before peace can reign. Imagine terrorists giving condition in Nigeria where Tinubu is the president.
He said so because we killed 200 people in Benue State, and so what? Is that why you people are crying and complaining? You are going to crying and complaining. You are going to social media to complain. What you saw is just small. You people have been writing that you will chase Fulani out of Benue State.
Yeah, that's what is rubbish.
But now you are the ones crying. How many of our cows were killed? How many of our people were killed in the bushes and in the Aruga settlements that you are crying over the killing of mere 200 people? So what? You have not seen anything yet.
Almighty.
I can kill 150 for one of my cows killed. For me, it's an eye for an eye. If you offend me, I don't wait. I take my vengeance immediately. I have stopped thinking twice. I don't forgive or forget. You do me, I revenge as a Fulani of the forest. Killing a human being who offends me or kills my cow is nothing to me. There is no killing that is difficult for me to carry out to avenge my cow or any wrong done to me. We have not even started, and you people are crying already. You will soon see what we are going to do.
He even added something.
Yes,
he said the Fulanis are not government. He said Fulanis are not government. Maybe if government doesn't want to take action, they themselves, they don't waste time. Esther, thank God you are reading this thing now. Nigerians, you can see what we are talking about. You can see. I told him the true story. That is farmer header class. What kind of farmer header class?
They are still running with that narrative.
Can you just imagine? All because the president said it himself. That is farmer header class.
Marcel, did you know that 11 states, because of the resurgence and in killing spree across the nation, 11 states are taking steps to commence ranching as a way to address the age-long violent clashes.
That is not the problem. I told you here, that thing will not work. Esther, even if you give these people a sort of to rear their cattle, they will not agree. That is not what they want. I told Tinubu here when they started this cattle whatever ranch, it will not work. That's not what they want.
Are you sure? But the states that are ready to commence the ranching are Lagos. Wait, listen, Lagos, Plateau, Ondo, Zamfara, Bauchi, Delta, Niger, Kano, Jigawa, Nasarawa, and Anambra states. They said the development comes against the surge in killings in Benue and Plateau communities linked to armed headers because of the killings of over 200 persons last week. So, Barrister, this ranching has been something that has been touted since the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. But the fear is that when you give these individuals opportunities to ranch, they take over the settlements.
Have I not told you that that's not what they want?
So
listen very well.
Okay.
During Buhari, when they were pretending to gullible Nigeria that they want to solve the problem, Niger State said they should come and all the land, whatever they need, they provide it. It happened. I discussed it. Kano State they should come if they are looking for land. Because that was the first thing they started making noise, that they need land, no place. Kiniko. I say, look at these people, pretenders. Esther, they are, at least Niger State is on the temperate region. It's not in the desert or whatever. So whatever you want to do there, Esther, Niger State is the size of the entire Southwest. Can you just imagine? South, come. Esther, did they listen to them? Did they listen to them? I'm asking you. So if land is their problem, this one that they are offered to them on a platter of gold. Kogi State did the same thing. Kogi State is the size of the entire Southeast, Esther. I hope you are listening to me.
I'm listening to you, sir.
Kogi State is the size of the entire Southeast of 5 states. So what land are you looking for you cannot find in this place, Esther? Please tell me. Tell me. Is the Kogi State in the desert? No, tell me. To tell you that these people are pretenders, I can use it to build a new city for Fulanis. So that whether you're a Fulani man from the moon, from the outer space, from wherever, from inner Mongolia, outside Mongolia, if you enter Nigeria, you go there. Since they are your people, you can be comfortable there without any problem. Esther, I made that suggestion here. That Buhari have the opportunity. Since they listen to him, go and do this. You have enough land to rehabilitate these people. Esther, did anybody listen to me? No. Hey. So why do you think that this ranching? What are you talking about? The agenda is temple. Look at what somebody said with his mouth. Only not for what he did. They almost killed the autumn in the same Benue, a governor, elected governor, and they come out to tell you how they did it. Yet no arrest was made. Esther, no arrest. Oh my! Look, look, you see these people, the way they are doing this, they will cause problem, Esther. I'm not joking. Collect their village, collect their farmland, and rename the village. The most annoying thing from Nigeria, at least the security you have told us to, they said that these people are not from Nigeria. So what are you doing? Esther, what are they doing? You can see how Tinubu is going to win 2027, Abi. That you allow people to come into Nigeria and be killing Nigerians, and you want those Nigerians to come and vote for you in 2027. How can that be? Esther, how can that be? With this level of insecurity, Tinubu is still campaigning for 2027. Is it possible? No, tell me, is it possible? These are the things that make other leaders in other countries resign from office. You don't need to be told. You don't resign on your own because you have failed. You have failed. How can you go for
ranching be established in their own home base?
I am telling you.
When you set up a ranching facility, water, the feedstock, everything is provided there by the state government. I'm sorry to say this, I know that everyone has the freedom to move from one location to the other. Must they reside in other cities, in other states?
Esther, look,
do they have to travel across board?
Look, discussing this matter is very annoying on its own.
No, we have to, Barrister Darlington, because tomorrow you hear of another killing. You can hear one of them who came on social media to post. I'm expecting that the DSS will drill this individual and not just go and catch innocent Nigerians because the president has given you a timeline. Without proper security, Barrister Darlington, your economy will definitely not thrive. That one is for sure. And not with the external situation going on now with Israel, Iran, the US. Obviously, we know that Nigeria relies heavily on import. We import a lot of things. So if anything happens that there's going to be a constraint in a disbursing of crude oil or having to import crude oil, there's a volatility in the country. So can we actually afford any of this particular misdemeanor? Can we afford it? What is the immediate solution? Imagine you're advising the president. What should be applied to curtail this? This is wrong. This is bad.
When a man does not want your advice, what he's doing is his mind. Tinubu is after 2027.
You cannot say so.
I said
if you don't have a people, if you don't have a people, what's 2027?
It doesn't matter. 2 people can vote him into office. Two people.
It's not possible.
Apparently,
Nigerians to allow that.
Are you serious? Look at what he said in Benin. Does it mean that Tinubu wants to solve this problem?
They kept saying that he doesn't have the political will to resolve this.
Okay. Am I lying?
So the resurgence has become so incessant. According to them, they feel that there are certain elements who are in the opposition or certain persons who are not happy with him who have decided to create this, they call it a facade of insecurity, so that it will seem like the president is is incapable of actually resolving insecurity, which would be a major issue for him in terms of accumulating trust for his campaign in 2027. Now, my question is, if the presidency has realized that indeed there are certain persons whom we don't know, but maybe they know, that are actually trying to defame his administration, is this not an opportunity to take decisive action? Call out this, I'm sure with your security intelligence, what is the fear of calling these individuals out? What is the fear of publicly prosecuting them? If there is any inkling that an individual is named as the one who is galvanizing, why not call them out? Why are you afraid? What is the fear?
Esther, God works in a wonderful way. Initially in this country, did they not tell you that Nnamdi Kanu is the problem of Nigeria? Insecurity. In fact, if any husband and wife are fighting in Sokoto, is Nnamdi Kanu. If two farmers are quarreling in Zamfara, is Nnamdi Kanu and the Ipob people. Is that not what they were telling you here? Now, the truth has come out here. They cannot do anything. Esther, what does that tell you? Were you not here when they were everything is Ipob? Everything is Ipob. Is that not true? Even the answers that the youth came together to challenge police brutality, it was Nnamdi Kanu. Is that not true? Now that these ones have exposed themselves.
So guys, you can see that everything that happened in the north, the insecurity and everything, they will label it IPOB. And now the truth is out. They don't want to go after the true terrorist. They call Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist, but then they cannot prove he's a terrorist. You cannot call somebody a terrorist when you don't have evidence. You don't need to even call him that terrorist at first because you don't have an evidence. It's when you have an evidence that you can call someone a terrorist. So they're just keeping him there, and IPOB has demanded for his release. So you heard how that man talked about how Nigerian government are working with bandits, So IPOB, they are saying, they are calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu after Kenya court has declared his abduction illegal, in a stunning legal development that sends shockwaves across Africa. And courts in Kenya as officially a high court in Kenya has officially declared the arrest and forced transfer of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu as illegal, labeling it a violation of international law and a human rights abuse. This ruling is not just a victory for Kanu, it is a direct indictment of the Nigerian government's conduct, which IPOB now calls an act of terrorism under Nigerian law itself. But what does this mean for Kanu's ongoing trial in Abuja? In this, the end of the road for Nigerians' legal pursuit. Stay with us, we're going to break everything down. So, let's do a little rewind to June 2021. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, was reportedly adopted in Kenya, held in Communicado, and then flown to Nigeria without going through any official extradition process. The kind of action is called extraordinary rendition. It means when someone is secretly seized and sent to another country bypassing all legal procedures, and it's illegal under both international law and Nigeria's own constitution. So in June 2025, after years of legal battle, a high court in Kenya finally ruled on the matter. Kanu's arrest, and they said the court declared that Kanu's arrest and transfer violated his fundamental human rights, including his right to liberty, fair hearing, and due process. There was no formal extradition, and the entire act was an adoption. And worst of all, the Kenya government collaborated with foreign agents in this illegal act. This ruling supports an earlier judgment from Nigeria's own Federal High Court in Umuahia, 2022, which also said Kanu's rendition was illegal and ordered his release, a judgment Nigeria has failed to obey. So now, in a statement signed by Barrister Onyedikachi Ifedi, IPOB's Director and Legal Affairs and Global Communication, the group described the ruling as a judicial indictment of Nigerians' illegal conduct, a violation of international treaties, and under Nigerian law, a clear act of state-sponsored terrorism. You can say that Nigerian government is the main terrorist because they secretly went to adopt him, and under section 23 FII of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, if you kidnap or adopt anyone in violation of any international treaty, it is terrorism. So if the Nigerian government or its agents adopted Kanu from Kenya without legal process, then according to Nigerian law, they committed an act of terrorism. IPOB also referenced the African chapter of Human and People's Rights, especially Article 12.4, which protects any legally admitted person from being expelled without proper legal procedure. That charter isn't just paper, it's actually domesticated into Nigerian law, which means it's legally binding. Now, despite this ruling from Kenya and from Nigeria's own court, Kanu is still being tried by Justice James Omotosho at the Federal High Court. But IPOB now demands that the court stop all proceedings, review each jurisdiction, and recognize the illegality of Kanu's jurisdiction. They argue that a court that closes its eye to jurisdictional abuse loses moral and legal legitimacy. Now, what is the stake here? What's at stake here is no more than one man's freedom. Is if Nigeria continues to ignore court rulings, foreign and both foreign and domestic, it sends a dangerous message that law doesn't matter, that international treaties can be broken, and that human rights can be trampled upon without consequences. This isn't just about Nnamdi Kanu, it's about the rule of law in Africa's largest democracy and whether Nigeria wants to be seen as a nation and respected and respects its own constitution, or one that criminalizes it. Now let's look at this article. Let's see what it says. IPOB demands end to Nnamdi Kanu's trial in Nigeria's after IPOB demands end to Nnamdi Kanu's trial in Nigeria after Kenya court declared jurisdiction illegal. Now it says here, now it says, in a statement signed by its Director of Legal Affairs, Research and Global Communication, Barrister Onyedikachi Ifedi, IPOB described the Kenya court ruling as a judicial indictment of what it called a criminal operation carried out under the watch of former Nigerian Attorney General Abubakar Malami. The indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB) has said that the judgment delivered by the High Court of Kenya declaring the arrest and transfer of its leader Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria as illegal is a clear indication that the ongoing trial of Kanu in Abuja by the Nigerian government is a national disgrace, an act of terrorism, and a violation of both domestic and international law. In a statement signed by its Director of Legal Affairs, Research and Global Communication, Barrister Onyedikachi Ifedi, IPOB described the Kenya court ruling as a judicial indictment of what it called a criminal operation carried out under the watch of former Nigerian Attorney General Abubakar Malami. This ruling is not merely a vindication of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's long-standing position, it's a direct judicial indictment of the lawlessness perpetrated by the Nigerian government that now exposes Nigerians to multiple counts of treaty violation, state-sponsored terrorism, and grave human rights abuse, the statement read. The ruling, delivered earlier this month by the High Court in Kenya, declared that Kanu's arrest and transfer from Kenya in June 2021 violated his fundamental rights to liberty, fair hearing, and due process. The court noted that no extradition proceedings were conducted before Kanu was taken from Kenya soil, effectively timing the acts an abortion. The court's decision followed a suit filed by Kanu's legal team in Kenya, alleging that he was kidnapped in Kenya, held incommunicado, and flown to Nigeria without lawful extradition proceedings. The Kenyan government had previously denied involvement, but the court found sufficient evidence that state agents had collaborated with foreign operatives in the legal transfer. The ruling aligns with similar findings by Nigerian Federal High Court sitting in Umuahia, Abia State, which is in October 2022, held that Kanu's extraordinary rejection violated his rights and ordered his release, a judgment that has yet to be fully enforced by Nigerian authority. Citing Section 23 FII of Nigeria's Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, IPOB argued that the act of adoption in a person in violation of any international treaty amounts to terrorism under Nigerian law. Ipob noted that the section defines terrorism to include acts that unlawfully seeks, kidnap, or adopt any person in breach of treaties to which Nigeria is a party. Any Nigerian official, civilian, or military involved in the adoption of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya has, by operation of Nigerian law, committed an act of terrorism. Statement read: the Nigerian government or anyone that was, part of that adoption committed terrorism, and they should be charged to court for that, and not IPOB, so they should release him. IPOB also reflects Article 12.4 of the African Quarter Chapter of Human and People's Rights, which prohibits the expulsion of any legally admitted non-national without due process. The chapter is domesticated in Nigerian law. The group urged Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja, who is currently presiding over the Kanu's trial, to suspend proceedings and initiate a review of the court's jurisdiction in light of the Kenya ruling and Nigeria's law. A trial built on illegality is itself illegal. A court that closes its eye to jurisdictional abuse loses moral and legal legitimacy, IPOB declared. Kanu's arrest in Kenya in June 2021 and flown to Nigeria to face terrorism-related charges. The circumstances of his return sparked international concerns and legal challenges both in Nigeria and abroad. His trial resumed despite a pure count of appeal ruling in October 2022, which quashed all charges and ordered his release. This ruling was later stayed by the Supreme Court pending further proceedings. In March 2025, the Nigerian government refiled amended charges, prompting renewed objection from Kanu's legal team, who insists the trial lacks jurisdiction due to the illegal jurisdiction. IPOB urged Nigerian government to immediately terminate the prosecution and comply with judicial pronouncements from both Kenya and Nigeria. Justice must begin with an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Nigeria must release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and terminate this trial forthwith, or risk being permanently stained as a rogue state that has criminalized its own constitution, IPOB said. So now you can see that Nnamdi Kanu is being tried under dead laws. There is more to this kind of case. We are waiting for Nigerian government to come and expose in fact, come and expose themselves, how they secretly went to Kenya, even bribed some Kenya officials in kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that Kenya has already apologized to Nnamdi Kanu for failing to protect him in their own country. So guys, I've come to the end of this live section. Do well to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. So guys, drop a comment under the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this headline. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next live section.